Just noticing how your breath feels in the body today. Noticing if it's fast or slow, shallow or deep. And just notice how it's feeling. And just notice how each part of the body is feeling today before we start the practice. Noticing if we're holding any tension anywhere in the body. Bringing your attention to your forehead and noticing if you're holding any tension here, and just trying to release any tension. Noticing your cheeks, if you're holding any tension, and just trying to relax them. Bringing your attention to your jaw, noticing if there's any tension in the jaw and trying to relax the jaw. Noticing the shoulders, if you're holding any tension in the shoulders, and just trying to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. And noticing the arms, the upper arms, the lower arms, and the hands. Noticing if you're holding any tension anywhere here, and just trying to relax them down, trying to release any tension. And then noticing the hips, if you're holding any tension in your hips, and just trying to soften into the hips. Noticing the legs, the upper legs, the lower legs, and the feet. And noticing if you're holding any tension anywhere here, and just trying to relax them down onto the mat. And just trying to bring yourself present on the mat for this practice. Just taking a deep inhale through the nose. And then as you exhale, trying to release any tension. And just trying to relax the body down for the beginning of the practice. And then when you're ready, if you're lying down, just bringing yourself up to a seated position. So either cross-legged or legs out or onto the knees. Just taking whichever feels best for you. We're just going to start off with some neck warm-ups. So just bringing the chin down to the chest. And then bringing the head all the way back, bringing the gaze up as we inhale. And then exhaling, bringing the chin all the way down to the chest. And just repeating this. For the next few moments. And then bringing the head back to the center. And we're just going to turn the head from side to side. So just inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other direction. And then bringing the head back to the center, and we're just going to bring the ear down towards the shoulder and just trying to keep the shoulder down and just lengthening Feeling the stretch through the sides of the neck and just holding here. You can bring the hands onto the head for a deeper stretch. And then into the center, and the same on the other side. So bringing the ear down towards the shoulder, trying to keep the shoulder down. Feeling this stretch through the sides of the neck. Bringing the hand onto the head for a deeper stretch. And then back into the center. We're just going to do some wrist warm-up, so just rotating the wrists in one direction. And then changing the direction. And then we're going to come over onto all fours. We're bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Bringing the knees hip distance apart. And we're just going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. So dropping the belly down, bringing the gaze up as we inhale. Tucking the chin into the chest and rounding through the back as we exhale. Inhaling, bringing the gaze up, dropping the belly down. Exhaling, tucking the chin into the chest and rounding through the back. And then coming back to neutral. We're going to do a thread the needle stretch. So we're going to pick up the right arm and stretch it all the way up. And then we're going to bring it through between the arm and the body and come down onto that right shoulder, bringing the cheek down to the mat. You can either keep the left hand here, or you can stretch it forward, or you can bring it around to the hip crease. And just holding here for a few breaths. Taking one last inhale. And on your exhale, just unraveling yourself, stretching that right arm back up, and then bringing it down to the mat. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So picking up that left arm and stretching it all the way up, bringing it through between the arm and the body, coming down onto that left shoulder, bringing the cheek down to the mat, either keeping the right hand here or stretching it forward or around to the left hip crease. And just holding here, breathing in and out. Take one last inhale. And on your exhale, just unraveling yourself, stretching that left arm all the way back up before bringing it down to the mat. We're going to take our knees mat distance apart, bringing the toes to touch, bringing the sit bones back towards the feet, arms out in front and forehead down to the mat. Coming into our wide-legged child's pose. And just holding here for a few more breaths before we move into our next pose. Just breathing in and out, trying to connect back to that breath. Trying to make your inhales and exhales nice and even. And taking one last inhale, and then on your exhale, coming back up onto all fours. And then we're going to slowly lower ourselves down onto our front. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders for cobra, so either baby cobra or full cobra. And bringing the gaze upwards or forwards. Trying to stay strong in the lower body. And then lowering back down to the mat. Bringing the elbows out to the side and resting the head down into the hands. Just pausing here to take a few breaths. Taking one last inhale, and then on your exhale, lifting the upper body up again. Taking your hands out as wide as the mat, and then bringing the gaze upwards, opening up through the chest, and breathing in and out into this seal pose. And then slowly lowering down to the mat again, elbows out to the side and resting the head down onto the hands. Just taking a few moments breath here, trying to connect back to that breath. Trying to inhale and then making your exhale even. Taking one last inhale here, and then on your exhale, coming back up onto all fours. We're bringing the knees hip distance apart, and we're going to come down onto the forearms and bring the forehead down to the mat, coming into this puppy pose. Just feeling your heart shining down towards the air. Taking one last inhale, and then on the exhale, coming back up onto all fours. And we're just going to let the head drop down. I'm just releasing through the head and the neck, and just taking a pause here between poses. Taking one last inhale. And then we're going to take the knees out as wide as the mat again, big toes to touch, bringing the sit bones back, arms out in front and forehead to the mat, coming back into our wide-legged child's pose. And just taking a few breaths here. Just trying to connect back to that nice even breath. Taking one last inhale here, and then coming back up onto all fours again. We're going to bring our right foot forward, coming into our low lunge. Bringing the hands onto the knee or framing the foot, just whichever feels better for you. You can take the legs wider apart if you need more stability. Just trying to relax the shoulders down. And bringing your gaze either forward or down towards the foot. And just breathing in and out here. Taking one last inhale. And then we're going to bring the hands up to frame the ears and bringing your gaze upwards. Taking one last inhale. And then bringing the hands down to the mat. We're going to tuck the toes under of that back leg and lift up the knee. And then bring on ourselves up to our high lunge. Hands up again, bringing the gaze up, breathing in and out. We're going to drop that back foot so it's parallel to the front foot and bending back into that front knee, making sure you can still see your toes over the knee and bringing the arms up into our warrior two. Bringing your gaze over that front middle finger. Bringing the palm to face up, dropping that back arm and reaching towards the back of the room into our reverse warrior. And then coming back into our warrior two. And bringing that right elbow onto the right knee and bringing the left arm into the air, bringing your gaze up towards the hand. And then we're going to bring the hands back to the mat and dropping down onto that back knee again. Bringing the front leg back, coming back onto all fours. And just taking our wide-legged child's pose again, knees out as wide as the mat, toes to touch. Sit bones back onto the feet, arms out in front and forehead to the mat. And just taking a pause here for a few moments, just connecting back to that breath before we move on to the other side. Just breathing in and out, trying to inhale and then make the exhale so it's even to the inhale. And just holding for a few more breaths here. Just feeling your forehead connecting down towards the earth. Taking one last inhale, and then on the exhale, coming back up onto all fours. And we're going to bring the left foot forward this time, coming into our low lunge. Bringing the hands onto the knee. You can bring the foot out wider for more stability. Just trying to relax the shoulders down, either bringing the gaze down towards the foot or forwards. Taking one last inhale, and then we're going to bring the hands up, framing the ears, bringing the gaze upwards. Bringing the hands down towards the mat, planting the hands down. We're going to tuck under the toes of that back leg and lifting up the knee and bringing ourselves up, arms up and gaze upwards into our high lunge. And we're going to drop down that back foot so it's parallel to the front foot, just adjusting your legs so they're one in front of the other. Bending into that front knee, bringing the arms out into our warrior two. Bringing your gaze over that front middle finger. Bringing that palm to face up, dropping the back arm and reaching towards the back of the room into our reverse warrior. And then bringing the arms back up into our warrior two. Dropping that left elbow onto the left knee and then bringing the right arm into the air. Bringing your gaze up towards the hand. And then bringing the hands down to the mat and dropping down that back knee, untucking the toe. Bringing that front leg back and taking our wide-legged child's pose. And just pausing here in this child's pose, just trying to connect back to that breath again if you've lost it. Just allowing yourself this gentle pause before we come into our next pose. Just trying to inhale and then making it exhale so it's equal to the inhale. Taking one last inhale here and then coming up onto all fours again. And then just coming up onto high knees. So we're going to inhale, bringing the hands all the way up, bringing the palms together. And we're going to bend backwards, bringing your gaze up towards the hands. Then coming back up, exhale as we bring the hands back down and at our sides. Inhale, bringing the hands all the way up, palms together. And we're going to bend over towards the right side, trying to bring your gaze up. Bringing yourself back into the center and exhale, bringing the hands down to heart center and at our sides. And again, bringing the hands all the way up, hands together, and then leaning over towards the left side, bringing your gaze up. Bring yourself back into the center and exhale, hands to heart center and at our sides. Bringing the hands back to the mat. We're going to tuck under the toes and bring the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Bringing your gaze between your feet or between your legs and just pedaling out the feet. And then we're going to walk the hands back to meet the feet, coming into our forward fold, taking a gentle bend into the knees and letting the upper body hang loose. And then slowly rolling ourselves up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Rolling the shoulders down away from the ears and bringing the hands at our sides in mountain pose. And we're going to bring the right foot forward and the left foot so it's parallel. Coming into our warrior two again, bending into that front knee, making sure you can still see your toes over the knee, and bringing the arms up into our warrior two, bringing your gaze over that front middle finger. Bringing that palm to face up, dropping the back arm and reaching towards the back of the room again into our reverse warrior. And then dropping both arms down. We're going to face both toes forward and turn them slightly out to the side. Taking an inhale. On our exhale, we're going to squat down, bringing the arms up into cactus arms and bringing the gaze up, coming into our goddess pose. And then bringing ourselves back up and dropping the arms. Turning the left toes to face forward and bringing the left foot so it's parallel. Bending into that left knee, making sure you can still see your toes over the knee and bringing the arms up into warrior two. Bringing that left palm to face up, dropping that back arm and reaching towards the back of the room into our reverse warrior. And dropping both arms down, bringing the toes to face forward again, slightly out to the side. Coming back into that goddess pose, we're going to inhale, exhale as we squat down, bringing our arms up into our goddess pose, and just breathing in and out as we hold this for a few seconds. Taking one last inhale, and then exhale to come back up. Bringing the hands onto the hips, keeping the legs out wide, and we're going to fold ourselves forward. Just trying to reach down to the floor. Releasing the head and neck down. Coming into our wide-legged forward fold. We're going to walk the hands over towards the right leg, and fold them forward over that right leg. And then back into the middle again. And then walking the hands over towards the left leg, folding forward over the left leg. And then back into the middle again, bringing the hands onto the hips and lifting ourselves back up to standing. Coming to the front of the mat, we're going to slowly roll ourselves down into our forward fold. Go gently bending into the knees and letting the upper body hang loose. Planting the hands down, and we're going to step back into our all fours position. And then transitioning through to a seated position, bringing the legs out long on the mat. We're going to bring the feet together, soles of the feet together, and letting the knees fall out to the sides. Coming into our butterfly. So either hands on the shins, hands on the feet, or framing the feet as we fold forward. You can have the feet as close to the body or as far away as is comfortable for you. And just folding forward. And holding for a few breaths. Trying to relax the shoulders. Taking one last inhale, and then bringing ourselves back up, straightening out the right leg, but keeping the left sole of the foot towards the leg and the knee out to the side. And we're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, walking the hands forward to frame that right leg. And just folding forward as much as you can, not pushing yourself too far over that right leg. Just trying to release down through the upper body. Taking one last inhale, and then walking the hands all the way up. We're going to bring the left hand to the right leg and the right hand to the ground behind, and just twisting to look over that back shoulder. Taking one last inhale. And then exhale back to the center, bringing both legs out long. And just taking a moment to pause here. Just noticing the different sides of the body. Bringing the soles of the feet together again, letting the knees fall out to the sides into our butterfly. Bringing the hands on the shins or on the feet, or framing the feet. And folding forward. Trying to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Taking one last inhale. On the exhale, bringing the upper body back up. And we're going to bring the left leg out long this time, keeping the right knee out to the side. Taking an inhale. On the exhale, walking the hands to free that left leg and just relaxing down, folding forward over that left leg. And just breathing in and out here. Take one last inhale and then bringing the upper body up again. And we're going to twist towards the left side this time. So bringing the right hand onto the left leg and the left hand to the ground behind. And just twisting to look over that back shoulder. And just taking one last inhale. And then on the exhale, bringing it back to the center, bringing both legs out long. And we're going to slowly lower ourselves down onto our back. Just taking a moment to settle in. Hooking our knees in towards our chest. Giving yourself a big squeeze. And then we're going to let the knees fall over to the left side. Bringing your right arm out long. And your gaze to the right. Bringing the hands to push the knees down towards the ground if you want a deeper stretch. Taking one last inhale and then bringing the knees back to the center and hugging the knees in towards the chest again. Just taking a pause here between the sides. And then we're going to let the knees fall over to the right side. Bringing the left arm out long and bringing your gaze to the right. Bringing the hand onto the knee for the deeper stretch. Taking one last inhale here and then bringing the legs back up. Hugging the knees in towards the chest one last time. And then lowering the feet to the ground. We're going to bring the knees out wide and bringing the soles of the feet together, coming into our reclined butterfly. And just holding this pose for a few breaths, trying to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. And take on one last inhale, and then bringing the feet out as wide as the mat and letting the knees fall in towards each other, bringing the hands onto the belly and just starting to notice the breath here. Just holding this last pose before we come into our meditation. Now you can either stay in this pose for the meditation, or you can bring the legs out long on the mat. So just taking any last movements before we come into stillness, and taking whichever lying down pose feels best for you. And then when you're ready, just bringing yourself into stillness. And just starting to let your breath return to its normal, natural rhythm. And just noticing how the breath feels now compared to at the beginning of the practice. Noticing if it's changed from the beginning. And just noticing each part of the body and how the body's feeling now compared to the beginning. And just relaxing into the forehead. Relaxing the cheeks. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the tongue and the mouth. Relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Relaxing down the arms, the upper arms, the lower arms, and the hands. Just relaxing them down onto the mat. Softening into the hips. And relaxing into the legs, the upper legs, the lower legs, and the feet. Just allowing the legs to rest down onto the mat. And just allowing your body to become heavy on the mat. Just allowing yourself to come into stillness for these last few seconds. Just starting to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Just bringing some movement back into the body. Bringing the hands over the head for a full body stretch. And then when you're ready, turning yourself onto your left side into a fetal position, making a pillow for your head with your hands or arms. And just pausing here, enjoying the last few moments of stillness. And then when you're ready, just making your way up to a seated position, trying to keep the eyes closed or a soft gaze. And bringing the hands together, resting the thumbs against the heart space, taking a bow towards your hands, and just giving yourself gratitude today for taking this time for yourself. And thank you for practicing with me. Taking an inhale. On the exhale, opening up the eyes. Namaste. Thank you. If anyone has any questions,